Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihiot or lagoyim v'natan lanu et Yeshua Meshekenu haor haolam. Amen. Blessed art thou, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by thy commandments and has commanded us to be a light unto the nations and has given us Yeshua, the Messiah, as the light of the world. Amen.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam vayet, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam vayet, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bakar banu mechol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Bless the Lord, the Blessed One. Bless the Lord, the Blessed One, for all eternity. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has chosen us from all peoples and given us his Torah. Blessed are you, O Lord, giver of the Torah. Amen.
Reading Parsha number 43, starting at Numbers chapter 33, verse 1. These are the stages in the journey of the people of Israel as they left the land of Egypt, divided into groups under the leadership of Moshe and Aharon. Moshe recorded each of the stages of their journey by order of Adonai. Here are the starting points of each stage. They began their journey from Ramsey in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month, the morning after Pesach. The people of Israel left proudly in view of all the Egyptians, while the Egyptians were burying those among them whom Adonai had killed, all their firstborn. Adonai had also executed judgment on their gods. The people of Israel moved on from Ramsey and camped at Sukkot. They moved from Sukkot and camped at Etam, by the edge of the desert. They moved from Etam and turned back to Pi-hakerot in front of Baal Zephon and camped before Migdal. They moved from Pnei-hakerot, passed through the sea to the desert, continued 3 days' journey into the Etam desert and camped at Marah. They moved on from Marah and came to Elim, where 12 springs and 70 palm trees. They also camped there. They moved on from Elim and camped by the Sea of Suf. Where do I turn this on? Thank you. They moved on from the Sea of Suf and camped in the Sin Desert. They moved on from the Sin Desert and camped at Dokaf. They moved on from Dokaf and camped at Alush. They moved on from Alush and camped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. They moved on from Rephidim and camped in the Sinai Desert. They moved on from the Sinai Desert and camped at Kivrot ha-Ta'ava. They moved on from Kivrot ha-Ta'ava and camped at Hatzerat. They moved on from Hatzerat and camped at Ritma. They moved on from Ritma and camped at Ramon Perez. They moved on from Ramon Perez and camped at Livna. They moved on from Livna and camped at Rissa. They moved on from Rissa and camped at Kehila. They moved on from Kehila and camped at Mount Shepher. They moved on from Mount Shepher and camped at Ha-Radah. They moved on from Ha-Radah and camped at Mach-Helot. They moved on from Mach-Helot and camped at Takat. They moved on from Takat and camped at Tirash. They moved on from Tirash and camped at Mitka. They moved on from Mitka and camped at Ha-Shemona. They moved on from Ha-Shemona and camped at Moserat. They moved on from Moserat and camped at Bnei Ya'akan. They moved on from Bnei Ya'akan and camped at Hor HaGidgad. They moved on from Hor HaGidgad and camped at Yotavata. They moved on from Yotavata and camped at Avron. They moved on from Avrona and camped at Etzion Giver. They moved on from Etzion Giver and camped in the Sin Desert, that is Kadesh. They moved on from Kadesh and camped at Mount Hor, at the border of the land of Edom. At Adonai's order, Aharon, the Kohen, went up on Mount Hor, and he died there on the first day of the 5th month of the 40th year after the people of Israel had left the land of Egypt. Aharon was 123 years old when he died on Mount Hor. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev in the land of Canaan, had heard that the people of Israel were coming. So they moved on from Mount Hor and camped at Zalmunna. They moved on from Zalmunna and camped at Punon. They moved on from Punon and camped at Ovot. They moved on from Ovot and camped at Ayer ha-Avarim by the border of Moab. They moved on from Ayim and camped at Devon Gad. They moved on from Devon Gad and camped at Almon Div Latanyim. They moved on from Alnon Div Latanyim and camped in the Avarim range in front of Novo. They moved on from the Avarim range and camped in the plains of Moab by the Yarden across from Jericho. They camped by the Yarden, extended from Bet Ha-Yeshimot all the way to Havel Ha-Shittim in the plains of Moab. Adonai spoke to Moshe in the plains of Moab by the Yarden across from Jericho. He said to tell the people of Israel, when you cross the Yarden into the land of Canaan, you are to expel all the people living in the land from in front of you, destroy all their stone figures, destroy all their metal statues, and demolish all their high places. Drive out the inhabitants of the land and live in it, for I have given the land to you to possess. You will inherit the land by lot according to your families. You are to give more land to the larger families and less to the smaller ones. Wherever the lot falls to any particular person, that will be his property. You will inherit according to the tribes of your ancestors. But if you don't drive out the inhabitants of the land from in front of you, then those you allow to remain will become like thorns in your eyes and stings in your sides. They will harass you in the land where you are living. And in this event, I will do to you what I had intended to do to them. Adonai said to Moshe, to give this order to the people of Israel: when you enter the land of Canaan, it will become your land to pass on as an inheritance. The land of Canaan is defined by these borders. Your southern portion will extend from the Zin Desert close to the border of Edom. The eastern terminus of your southern border is to end at the Dead Sea. From there, your border goes south of the Akrabim ascent and passes on to Zin. From there, it goes south of Kadesh Barnea on to Hatzar Adar and on to Atzmon. Then the border turns and goes from Atzmon to the Valley of Egypt and along it to the sea. Your western border will be the Great Sea. Your northern border will be as follows. From the Great Sea, mark a line to Mount Hor, and from Mount Hor, mark a line to the entrance of Hamat. The border goes out to Zedad, then the border goes to Ziphron, and finally to Hatzar Anan. This is your northern border. For the eastern border, mark your line from Hatzar Anan to Shepham. Then the border goes down from Shaphan to Rivlah on the east side of Ayin, then down until it hits the slope of Lake Gennesaret. From there it goes down the Yarden River till it flows into the Dead Sea. These will be the borders of your land. Moshe gave this order to the people of Israel. This is the land in which you will receive inheritance by lot, which Adonai has ordered to give to the 9 tribes and a half tribe. The tribe of the descendants of Reuben have already received their land for inheritance according to their clans, and so have the descendants of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh. These 2.5 tribes have received their inheritance on this side of the Yarden, across from Jericho and eastward toward the sunrise. Adonai said to Moshe, these are the names of the men who will take possession of the land for you: Eleazar the Kohen and Yehoshua the son of Nun. Also appoint 1 leader from each tribe to take possession of the land. The names of these men are, from the tribe of Yehudah, Caleb, the son of Yephone; from the tribe of the descendants of Shimon, Shemuel, the son of Ammihud; from the tribe of Benjamin, Eldad, the son of Kislon; from the tribe of the descendants of Dan, a leader, Bukki, the son of Jogli; from the descendants of Joseph; from the tribe of the descendants of Manasseh, a leader, Haniel, the son of Ephod; from the tribe of the descendants of Ephraim, a leader, Kemuel, the son of Shifton; from the tribe of the descendant of Zebulun, a leader, Elitzaphan, the son of Parnak; from the tribe of the descendant of Issachar, a leader, Patiel, the son of Azan; from the tribe of the descendant of Asher, a leader, Akahud, the son of Shalomi; from the tribe of the descendant of Naphtali, a leader, Padihal, the son of Amminahud. These are the ones whom Adonai ordered to divide the inheritance among the people of Israel in the land of Canaan. In the plains of Moab by the Yarden, across from Jericho, Adonai said to Moshe, order the people of Israel to give to the Libyans cities to live in from the heritage they will possess. And you are also to give the Libyans some of the open land surrounding the cities. They are to have the cities to live in, while their open land will be for their livestock, for growing crops, and for all their animals. The open land around the cities you give to the Libyan is to commence at a line drawn around the city wall 1,500 feet outside it, and is to extend outward from there. Measure 3,000 feet outward from the city wall to the east, south, west, and north, with the city in the center. The space between the 1,500-foot line and the 3,000-foot line will be their open land around the cities. The cities you give to the Libyans are to be the 6 cities of refuge to which you permit the person who kills someone to flee to, plus an additional 42 cities. Thus you will give the Libyan 48 cities with their surrounding open land. As to the cities you will give from those the people of Israel possessed, from the many you will take many, and from the few you will take few. Each tribe will contribute from its city to the Libyan in accordance with the size of his inheritance. Adonai said to Moshe, "Tell the people of Israel, when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, you are to designate for yourselves cities that will be cities of refuge for you, to which anyone who kills someone by mistake can flee. These cities are to be a refuge for you from the dead person's next of kin, who might otherwise avenge his kinsman's death by slaying the killer prior to his standing trial before the community. In regard to the cities you are to give, there are to be 6 cities of refuge for you. You are to give 3 cities east of the Jordan and 3 cities in the land of Canaan. These will be the cities of refuge. These 6 cities will serve as refuge for the people of Israel, as well as for the foreigner and resident alien with them, so that anyone who kills someone by mistake may flee there. However, if he hits him with an iron implement and thus causes his death, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. Or if he hits him with a stone in his hand big enough to kill him and he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. Or if he hits him with a wooden utensil in his hand capable of killing someone and he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. The next of kin avenger is to put the murderer to death himself. Upon meeting him, he is to put him to death. Likewise, if he shoves him out of hatred or intentionally throws something at him, causing his death, or out of hostility strikes him with his hand so that he dies, then the one who struck him must be put to death. He is a murderer. And the next of kin avenger is to put the murderer to death upon meeting him. But suppose he shoves him suddenly without hostility, or he throws something at him unintentionally, or without seeing him, being his enemy or seeking to harm him, he throws a stone big enough to cause death, and the person dies. Then the community is to judge between the one who struck him and the next of kin avenger in accordance with these rules. And the community is to save the killer from the next of kin avenger. The community is to return him to the city of refuge to which he fled, and he is to live there until the Kohen HaGadol, who was anointed with the holy oil, dies. But if the killer ever goes beyond the limits of the city of refuge he fled to, and the next of kin avenger finds him outside the limits of his city of refuge, and the avenger kills the killer, he will not be guilty of the man's blood, because he must stay in his city of refuge until the death of the Kohen HaGadol. But after the death of the Kohen HaGadol, the killer may return to the land he owns. These things shall constitute your standard for judgment through all your generations wherever you live. If anyone kills someone, the murderer is to be put to death upon the testimony of witnesses. But the testimony of only one witness will not suffice to cause a person to be put to death. Also, you are not to accept a ransom in lieu of the life of a murderer condemned to death. Rather, he must be put to death. Likewise, you are not to accept for someone who has fled to his city of refuge a ransom that would allow him to return to his land before the death of the Kohen. In this way, you will not defile the land in which you are living. For blood defiles the land, and in this land no atonement can be made for the blood shed in it, except the blood of him who shed it. No, you are not to defile the land in which you live, and in which I live, for I, Adonai, live among the people of Israel. The leaders of the clans of the families of the descendants of Gilad, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the descendants of Joseph, approached and addressed Moshe and the leaders, the heads of the clans of the people of Israel. They said, Adonai ordered my Lord to give by lot the land to be inherited by the people of Israel. And my Lord was ordered by Adonai to give the inheritance of our kinsman Zolachad to his daughters. But if they marry to anyone belonging to another of the tribes of the people of Israel, then their inheritance will be taken away from the inheritance of our ancestors and be added to the inheritance of the tribe they will then belong to. Thus, it will be taken away from the sum total of our inheritance. And when the Yovel of the people of Israel comes, their inheritance will be added to the land possessed by the tribe they will then belong to, and be subtracted from the inheritance belonging to the tribe of our ancestors. Moshe gave this order to the people of Israel in keeping with the word of Adonai. The tribe of the descendants of Joseph is right in what it says. Here's what Adonai has ordered concerning the daughters of Zolachad. Let them be married to whomever they think best, but they must marry only into a family from their father's tribe. In this way, no inheritance of the people of Israel will move from one tribe to another. For each of the people of Israel is to hold on to the land for inheritance belonging to his father's tribe. Every daughter who possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the people of Israel is to become the wife of someone from the family of her father's tribe, so that every one of the people of Israel will stay in possession of his ancestors' inheritance. Thus, no inheritance will move from one tribe to another, for each of the tribes of the people of Israel will hold on to its own inheritance. The daughters of Zolachad did as Adonai had ordered Moshe. Machlah, Tirzah, Haglah, Maacah, and Noah all got married to sons of their father's brothers. They were married into the families of the descendants of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's family. These are the mitzvot and ruling which Adonai gave through Moshe to the people of Israel in the plain of Moab by the Yarden across from Jericho. Hazak, Hazak, the Nik, Hazik. Be strong, and let us be strengthened.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaya olam nata betukenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has given us a Torah of truth and has planted eternal life in our midst. Blessed are you, O Lord, giver of the Torah. Amen.